went to the meeting, thought it was great, really wanted to be a part of it, but had a little bit of imposter syndrome, didn't feel like I was worthy to be in the room. Within a year of being in the group, well worth it and transformational for me and for my business. By the help of the association, whether it was through referrals, introducing us to larger clients that could create more opportunities for us, that was obviously transformational for us. In 2021, I ended up selling the company to a strategic backed by private equity. And the support I got throughout the sale process and then all the way through the sabbatical process has been great for me.
So we have another amazing member of the Executives Association, my dear friend and fellow member, Brian Sullivan. Brian, thank you for being here with me.
Thanks for having me, Joe. Really appreciate it.
So you've been a longtime member of the Executives Association. Do you remember how you joined?
I do. Ross Adler invited me to a meeting back in maybe 2013 or 14. I went to the meeting, thought it was great, really wanted to be a part of it, but had a little bit of imposter syndrome, didn't feel like I was worthy to be in the room. And it took Ross some encouragement over 6 or 9 months before I finally recognized that, yeah, I should be in that room. And there's a lot of value to being there. It's an investment for sure, right? But it's also an investment in time. And I kind of laughed within a year of being in the group of how I thought about whether or not the time, whether or not I could carve out the time to be there, because it certainly was well worth it and transformational for me and for my business.
Talking about your business and how transformational it was, can you tell us what business you had then and what happened to your business as a result of being a member of the Executives Association, and then what you transitioned to doing now and how EANYC is helping you now?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I had an engineering firm. We did building envelope restoration. So that's restoration of anything on the outside of the building, primarily in New York City. Certainly when I joined the group in 2015, we had an office in Jersey, but that's close to my house. And we opened up an office in Manhattan right then in 2015, and then expanded to continue to grow. And by the help of the association, whether it was through referrals, introducing us to larger clients that could create more opportunities for us, that was obviously transformational for us. But when we moved offices, we even worked with Robin Fisher to grab a new commercial lease on a great space and moved our team into there. And that was great for recruiting, because now we had a really nice space to bring people into. I had a lot of really good conversations with other leaders throughout the years that helped me figure out how I wanted to be as a leader for my team, how to better manage them, how to better delegate. Matt Schwartzberg and I would get together at least every couple of months, and he'd always share his wisdom. But so many leaders within the group, yourself, Joe, Don Gelastino, John Rafferty, Mark Matthews, so many of them, only to name a few, really were transformational in the wisdom that they shared to me and how I should show up and be a better leader. And then eventually in 2021, I ended up selling the company to a strategic backed by private equity. I stayed on with them through 2023 and then took a sabbatical. And, having fellow leaders that I could bounce my thoughts off of during that time, some that have already sold businesses, some that are keeping their businesses for the long run, really helped me kind of formulate my decision on what I wanted to do as far as what was right for me and my family. And then the support I got throughout the sale process and then all the way through the sabbatical process, and then eventually coming back into the group as an emeritus member has been great for me and the way I show up as a leader and the way I show up as a entrepreneur.
I love that. I love hearing all the stories of so many members that have come to the Executives Association, grown their businesses, and as a result of being a member of the Executives Association, from all the connections and network and everything you learn from it, being able to sell your business eventually and make the right decision. Really, really powerful. Can you tell me what you're doing now that everyone should know about in the Executives Association?
Yeah, thanks, Joe. I'm launching a platform called GigBench. The purpose of the platform is to connect freelance engineers and architects with firms that are looking to hire them. So kind of what I've been working on is trying to solve some of the problems I had as a former CEO of an engineering firm. So hired a development company to develop the platform, and then hired a marketing company, Ajax Union, to help us with the marketing for it, to put that word out there for our launch. We're doing a wait list right now. December 15th is when the wait list starts, and then March 30th is when the platform will launch. And the purpose is just to allow flexible growth for firms, engineering and architecture firms, to be able to find freelance help as they need it. And then to allow this new kind of gig economy that's developing, so many individuals would rather be freelance employees and have a little bit of control of their future or control of where they live. And so to be able to connect those two together is what we're trying to do.
That is a really powerful concept, the whole GigBench concept. How did that idea formulate in your mind? And was it something that's been brewing for a while, or is something that just happened?
No, it's been brewing for a long time. It's been at least 7 or 8 years that it's been brewing in my mind. When it first kind of crossed my mind, I thought, I don't really have the time or the resources to do it. All my focus was on Sullivan engineering. And I also kept thinking that someone else was going to do it. And so for a couple of years there, it was just sat in the back of my mind. I didn't do much about it. Then sold, exited the business, and took a sabbatical, and was still sitting there assuming someone else would do it. There are platforms out there to connect freelance individuals with firms or individuals that are looking to hire them, but they're really not focusing in on professional services, and they're not building that trust through vetting and through user reviews that we're going to do. We have a very thorough vetting process and then a user review process. Eventually, we'll move beyond architects and engineers across professional services into the finance industry and into the legal industry. But for now, we're starting with engineers and architects.
It's so interesting how you're taking an industry and revolutionizing it and disrupting it, and you see what's happening in the future with AI taking over, and you're creating an incredible vetting process. When you're speaking to executive association members, because you still come to the lunches and you meet with people around the table, and they ask you, what is it that they can do for you? Who can they introduce you to? Who are the people that you most want to meet right now?
I want to meet decision makers with engineering firms, whether it's large or small, and architecture firms, obviously, whether it's large or small, that would be kind of early adopters and would be interested in joining GigBench as soon as it gets up and running. That being said, I've had conversations with engineering and architecture firm owners that are not early adopters, and very quickly they see the benefit to bringing on freelance help and doing it through a platform with vetted and trusted. So really any leaders of engineering and architecture firms would be great for me. And on a wild goose chase, if anyone knows of a good CTO that would be looking to join a startup in a few months' time, that would be great.
Amazing. And here's the other question I have for you. In terms of yourself personally, one of the best ways to build trust with other people is to learn about the person. I know you wrote a book with your wife, and you have some incredible stories about you. What do you want to share about yourself personally that everyone should know about?
I am a very fortunate and blessed, happily married 22 years to my beautiful wife, Mary Jo. We've been blessed with 7 kids, 4 biological, 3 adopted, very strong Catholic faith. And all of that comes first and foremost for us above any kind of business venture. That's the most important things in my life for sure.
Amazing. And do you want to tell everyone about the book that you wrote so that they can buy and download and get so they can learn more about you?
Sure. My wife and I wrote Entrepreneurial Trinity during our sabbatical, and it just tells the story of kind of our journey of starting and growing a business while building a strong family with an abundant faith. My wife contributed to it. Her parts of it are the best part of the book by far. And we just kind of tell our story so that people can learn from the mistakes that I made, gain her wisdom, and hopefully carve their own path in their entrepreneurial journey.
Executives Association of New York City is kind of like a family. When you walk into the room and you see all the people that you've known for north of a decade, who has been a true center of influence for you in your business that consistently refers you, supports you, is there for you? Who are some of the people in the Executives Association that really stand out, and how do they stand out for you?
Yeah, I think Matt Schwartzberg stands out. Absolutely. He's always been a great friend to me, a great business mind where we can get together and collaborate, share what we're going through. Jesse Berlin's been awesome as well. Ross Adler brought me into the group. He's always had my back. He's always been willing to make introductions. He made some introductions for us that absolutely changed the trajectory of our business by putting himself out there, putting his neck on the line to introduce us to clients. He brought us into the group, but also, the group itself, you get to know people in it. You get to build trust with them first, not like a business card exchange, but you really get to know people and you know that they're going to do the right thing for you. And Ross has certainly done that for us. You yourself, Joe, have been a great introductory partner. Robin Fisher has been great. There's so many members that have been tremendous for our business.
If you had to describe Executives Association of New York City in one word, how would you describe it? Or in one sentence, if one word is too little, how would you describe it? Let's use a sentence.
I'm not smart enough to shrink it down to one word. It's just a like-minded group of professionals that love being around each other and love helping each other. It's give first, without a doubt.
And what do you think is the most valuable part of it? Give First is nice. It's a family, the revenue generation, all that's 100% clear. But what's something that's really valuable to you in EANYC as a member?
I think having a group that all really cares about everyone that's in the room, but also cares about their business, cares about the impact that they're having, and allows us to kind of help each other accomplish everything that we should in life. It's not just about revenue or referrals. It's far from that. It's about really genuinely helping each other when we need it. I've had some immigration issues with people I know and I love, right? And I've reached out to Alexis in the group, and she was a tremendous help in that, right? That has nothing to do with business for me. That has everything to do with what's important to me in life, and just being able to lean on the group, right? And Steven Zweig being able to be an absolute resource to me, especially when I was selling the business and then leaving, and just being a tremendous asset. Just having those people that you have someone you can call, or you're one degree removed from somebody that you need to be in touch with whenever you need them for whatever reason you can't put a price on that.
Yeah, it's incredible. Think about how many people we have access to. If you have access to dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of people that you've known for a decade, that you see regularly, they're absolute experts in their industry, in 80 different industries, that's just like such a powerful thing to have in your back pocket when you need it. Can you share an example of a connection? You mentioned Ross Adler referred you to someone crazy, but could you share something that came out of EANYC that made a meaningful impact in your business? Maybe tell the story of how you wanted help with LinkedIn and that you got onto LinkedIn, and as a result, Rimkiss found you. Like, you want to share a story like that if you have one?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a perfect one, Joe, to go with, right? And I used LinkedIn here and there. I dabbled with it. I probably wasn't confident enough to put myself out there as much as I should have. And through working with the Ajax Union team, got really comfortable with having them kind of handle that, or at least I got comfortable with putting the verbiage out there, but I wasn't great at the follow through, right? And then working with the team, they helped me put a regular calendar on posts, get it out there. We had hit the Inc. 5000 5 years in a row, and they kind of helped me advertise for that, something I was uncomfortable advertising for, but really should be out there. And to that end, then the company that acquired us found us through the LinkedIn posts, followed us for a good year through conversations, saw the growth that we had through 2020 into 2021, and then came after us pretty aggressively and made a very, very strong offer to purchase Sullivan Engineering.
Wow. First of all, congratulations on getting on the Inc. 5000 5 years in a row. That is a huge, huge, huge accomplishment. Congratulations on that.
Thanks, Joe. I don't think I realized it at the time how much of a challenge that was, but it was fun.
Yeah, I remember hitting the Inc. 5000 one time. Watching someone do it 5 years in a row is like, wow, that's insane. And so, and quite a few other companies in the Executives Association have been on the Inc. 5000, but very few have been on so many times. What is one lesson that you can give somebody in terms of like what it takes to build such a business, and how do you leverage networking to be able to build a business that gets you on the Inc. 5000 5 years in a row?
Yeah, I think it's really trust, right? It's conveying trust in your people that you can delegate to them, they can handle it, so you can free yourself up to be out there and networking as much as you should. And then it's building trust in the organization by delivering and doing what you say you're going to do, right? When you're in the meeting and you say you're going to make an introduction, you make that introduction. When someone puts themselves out there on the line for you, makes an introduction, you follow up. When you land that opportunity, you deliver far more than the client thought they were going to get to really knock it out of the park. And that's where then the referrals continue to come in and the snowball starts to roll downhill. Things pick up speed, and that lasts for years to come. Those opportunities and that snowball growth, as it rolls down the hill, the momentum gets going, and it's hard to stop at that point.
It's one of the most powerful things about the Executives Association. You see the members that actually have integrity and actually keep their word and actually show up to meetings and actually do what they say they're going to do. That's what really moves the needle. Integrity is power. What keeps you engaged and committed to the Executives Association even after you sold your meeting? You're sold your business. You're gone. You don't need it anymore. But you're back and you're networking, and you came to the holiday party the other day and we got to celebrate together over some latkes. Can you tell us what keeps you engaged?
I think it's just love of the group and love of the people, and the reinforcement of that integrity, right? When you walk into the holiday party, and some people I've seen over the past few months and some people I haven't seen in a year or two or maybe longer, right? And the hugs that you get from the people, and the genuine people want to know how you're doing and what are you up to and how can they help, right? And I want to go and see how some people that I haven't connected with in a long time, how they're doing and how I can help them, right? And I think it's just so much fun to see everybody's business growing. Some people have their struggles, right? And see how the group rallies around them to help them get through and make the right decisions that they need to make. Just something that'll stay with you forever.
I agree. And one of my favorite things about the Executives Association is being able to bring guests to events. And I saw when I always analyze the guests that come, and I send a list to everybody out before the event. And I noticed that you brought Dan Donnelly as a guest. And Dan was somebody else who was also a member for a really long time, and eventually he sold his business, moved to South Carolina or wherever he moved to, or North Carolina, somewhere in the Carolinas he moved to. And you brought him as a guest, which is interesting. You also sold your business. A guy who sold his business brought a guy who sold his business as a guest to the holiday party. Can you speak to the guests?
Yeah, the guests are unbelievable. So, there was another guest that was there who's, I think, was a member for 30 years, and he hasn't been in the group in 10 years. And he came to the holiday party, right? Talk about the magnetic attraction to the group to want to be around that. Yeah, Dan's fantastic. And Dan was a great mentor to me and great, gave a lot of great wisdom, especially when I was looking at selling, and even more so as I was thinking about what to do next. And he is in warmer climate right now down in South Carolina. And after just coming in from a walk, my face is all red because it's cold out today. I kind of wish I was down in South Carolina. But, people like that, having their wisdom of how long Dan ran his business, he grew it, was unbelievably successful, and then exited it and transitioned into, some consulting work and some advising work. Having that, shoulder to lean on has been fantastic for me.
And for me, for 2026, I'm working with restoration companies to help them with their marketing. And I just turned to the Executives Association and I sent a message on the blaster and I said, does anybody know any restoration companies? I want to work with them. At least 5 people introduced me to top CEOs at top restoration companies within 2 hours of me sending out that email. That means I have 5 amazing prospects that got warm intros that are guaranteed to get on the phone with me. Think about the opportunity that you could have if you're part of such an association. So if somebody's kind of like on the fence, they're thinking about joining EANYC, and there's a category that's available for them, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I would say it's really foolish not to do your best to try to find the time to be there and to join and to apply, at least get in the room and observe what's happening in that room. I mean, I failed to mention before, Danny Mizrahi. Danny's been a great friend to me. He also was a great consultant to our team, just changed the game about how we handled our IT and how we thought about our business from an IT point of view. I'm involved in a few different nonprofits. Howie Schwartz has come out to run the auctions for those nonprofits and just absolutely changed their fundraising significantly from one year to the next. And now he's been their auctioneer for 3 years in a row and just transformed how much money they're bringing in through their events, which is incredibly powerful for nonprofits, right? So the ways that execs impacts us is not just something we look at ROI from a dollars and cents point. It's time put in. The more time you put into the group, the more you're going to get out across all of your life, whether that's your home, your family life, your nonprofits you're involved in, your health, right? There's several people in the group pushing each other to run marathons, to do things like that. Vinny Malizia is often running marathons and making everybody step up their game and how they're handling their health. It's just a great group, great people to be around.
Really powerful. So thank you for sharing that. Is there anything else that you didn't mention that you want to mention, like maybe a surprise benefit that you get from EANYC? Is there anything like surprising that you're like, you know what, now that I think of it, the Executives Association, for me, it's like, help me find a divorce lawyer, and help me be able to get advice, whether or not, what route I should take and how I should take things. Or, my son got hit by a bike. Somebody was driving a bike on the sidewalk and I wanted to sue the messenger company that hit him. And then I spoke to the lawyer right away on his cell phone and I called him up and he's like, well, if he didn't break a leg, he's not gonna be able to sue anything. So, don't waste your time with that. You know what I mean? So also when not to waste my time when it comes to immigration, when it comes to legal, when it comes to HR, when it comes to trademark violations or whatever it is, there's always somebody to speak to. Even if I need a flag outside my house, I got a guy who does signs and flags who's amazing, Anthony DiCrescenzo from Manhattan Signs. So what's a surprising benefit that you have other than advice or camaraderie or leads or things like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many benefits that are out there. And I think the surprising benefit really is how much people are willing to give of their time, of their resources, with no commitment, with no charge. Anthony DiCrescenzo of Manhattan Signs, my kid's school was looking for some signs. They reached out to him, said, hey, through me, I reached out to him, said, would you be interested in getting involved? He met with them and pointed out the fact that they don't need signs. He could have gone in and tried to sell them signs. He could have done something like that, right? But that's the nature of this group. He went in and he saw the obvious. They don't need signs. From the street, you can see the signs perfectly fine on the building that they have. They didn't need to put signs out on the street. They didn't need to spend that money, which is important for them, right? So the fact that I could call somebody who knows that industry really, really well and speak to them with the same heart that I would speak to them is just phenomenal, right? And that's across just about every different industry that's out there. We have that connection with, and people will represent each other the same way.
Yeah, we had a real estate broker who helped me be able to get a fair market value for my brownstone that helped me with negotiations. Like, there's so many little things that you were able to get, so many ancillary benefits besides a recommendation. Would you give anybody advice on how to best leverage EANYC? If a member's listening to this and they're like, Brian's a sage, Brian's a guru, he's so successful, he did it, he made it to the end of the rainbow, he got to Oz. By the way, I just watched Wicked for Good. It was epic. It was very, very good. I highly recommend it. It was better than the other Wicked, the one right before.
That's what my wife and daughter saw it yesterday. They said the same.
So good, so good. And it also finished very well. Like, it finished happily. You know, sometimes movies finish bad. This movie finished bad. But if you had an EANYC member that's watching this and they want some sage advice from you on the best way to leverage EANYC, or maybe it's a member candidate thinking about joining, or they're just joining and they want some advice, what advice would you give a new member or an established member to really be able to leverage EANYC and have it positively impact their business?
I think the key is intentionality, right? So one thing that when I had my executive assistant, she would lock in an hour for me every week to kind of go through the execs list and just think about people that are in execs and how I can help them and how I can make introductions for them. And once we did that and just kind of randomly out of the blue making an introduction, I'd also look through the list and figure out who I could have a one-to-one with, who I didn't have a one-to-one with in a while. She would keep track of that just to make sure I was having one-to-ones with most of the people in the group at least once a year, some of the people in the group every 2 months, and getting together. And how often were we doing that? And how often was I thinking of them? Not just coming into the group wondering how often are they thinking of me and how can they help me? But the more I was doing that, the more I was being very intentional in the group of who I could introduce people to, how could I benefit them? That's potentially clients, that's potentially other resources that I might have that could benefit them. The more I put into the group, the more I got out of it.
That is so powerful. I remember there were a couple of times where I set up these real estate meetings for people in the real estate group, and you hosted a couple of them, so thank you for being such a gracious host of them. It was very beneficial for me, even though I wasn't really involved in it that much. You know, like me just putting it together and reaching out to everyone and being that center of influence where I'm the one arranging things for people, whether it's bringing together all the women, whether it's bringing together all the lawyers, whether it's bringing together all the marketers or all the real estate people. I've done it across the board, and then people see me as the person they come to when they need some help or some advice or something. And so I love that, especially when we have new members. I sit with them and I review the full list with them. That's something that I do with new members. And no one asked me to do that, but I just hit up new members. I say, would you like to review the list with me? And I'll tell you who you should prioritize based on your goals. And they're like, holy crap, you do that for me? I'm like, absolutely. That's such an easy thing for me to do because I literally know every single person. I know everything about them because I dig in and I learn about them. So if you're watching this, do one thing. Reach out to Brian. Send him an email. Say, Brian, I watched this. I love this. And tell him why you loved it. Tell him what you loved most about the interview. And then maybe share this interview online or leave a comment on it if you see it online. So Brian, is there any final words that you want to share with somebody watching this? What do you want to say to members of the execs, guests, potential members, people watching this? What do you want to say to them?
I think it's just really lean into the organization, lean into the great people that are here. Don't be afraid to put something out there. Ask for help when you need it. Don't be afraid to give advice when you feel it's the right piece of advice to give if someone's looking for it. Just get involved and be very intentional. I learned that from Joe, and the more I did that, the better it was for the group. And that's why even after exiting my business, I don't want to leave the group.
Yay! And if you want to get in touch with Brian, his email is brian@gigbench.com. That's the domain, gigbench.com. If you know of an architect, of an engineer, of somebody in the AEC space that can get him people for his waiting list, both on the hiring side, someone looking to hire talent, and on the talent side, someone looking, someone that's really talented, they have a full-time job and they maybe want some gigs and they're really a hardcore engineer, someone who's amazing, Brian wants to meet them, please send them to Brian so he can launch his business in March and take his business to a whole new level. Brian, thank you for being here. I appreciate you endlessly, and I'm looking forward to continuing our beautiful friendship and our beautiful business relationship and all the magic that we're doing together.
Absolutely, Joe. Thank you so much for your time and your wisdom. Really appreciate you.
All right, talk to you soon. Boom.
See ya.
Ready to expand your opportunities? If you enjoyed this interview and would like to know more and be part of us, join a trusted circle of New York City's top industry leaders. Apply to join EANYC today.